Yes, Mr. Allaboutme. I understand that you're going to the Verdi Macbeth tonight. I'll be very interested to know what you think of it. I wouldn't go myself. I've heard terrible reports. They say that the soprano is so far off pitch, there was almost a riot on opening night. But perhaps I need to find a new way to listen. Also, I'm a little prejudiced. I like to know what note I'm hearing. Enjoy, Mr. Allaboutme. I look forward to hearing your report.
No notes required. Having been a musician since the age of 3, I'm not the ideal person to have as a companion at the opera, as I am extremely critical. I've recently been gently called to task about the way I sometimes radiate an aura of negativity during performances. This critical faculty can lead from a barely controlled spasm of anguish at a flat-pitched note to a violent head shaking at an overused vibrato. A vibrato used to disguise the fact that the singer doesn't have the foggiest idea as to what note they may or may not be trying to sing. But nonetheless, if it is spoiling the musical experience of my companion, it's worth getting under a modicum of self-control. I expected the San Francisco Opera's production of Verdi's Macbeth to be the least favorite of my few viewings this season. But it turned out to be the best, and perhaps for not the usual reasons. It taught me a new way to listen to opera. Forget the notes. Having spent years in the pursuit of the finest Indian singing, I know that singing the required note and having it be recognizable by all is the bottom line required by yours truly, at least, Allaboutme. I have a deep-seated desire to hear the note that was written, not an approximation masked by an overzealous vibrato. In the case of Lady Macbeth, I already knew a little of what to expect, there being a concurrence of opinion about the questionable singing capabilities of Georgina Lukat. The overture and overproduced first scene went well, and I was able to restrain my sardonic smirk at the use of a pink hula hoop by a witch in the enlarged coven of sexy witches. But then she appeared on the roof, reading the letter from Macbeth. I heard the first 3 notes. They weren't notes, really. They had no discernible pitch. I caught myself mid-writhe, closed my eyes, and tried to forget that I was listening to a human voice. To forget that there were even any particular notes required, or even desired by the composer. It was sound, just sound. Instrumental, animal sound, indeed. Not about notes at all. If Cage can say that all sound is music, then all music could just be sound. When I listened with this in mind, it was much more pleasurable. Being able to hear in this way was facilitated by the fact that there was no discernible language due to the absence of any consonants. These iridescent, coiling sounds seemed to exist apart from Verdi's score, and then it gradually became more and more obvious that she wanted to be singing this way. She was definitely going for something, notes be damned. As an aside, in a letter, Verdi is quoted as saying, "I would like Lady Macbeth not to sing. I would like the voice to have a diabolical quality." Somewhat reinforcing, no? During the intermission, my companion, who now in his own way was being critical, said that her superb acting was compensating for her bad singing. Actually, her singing needed no compensation. She was singing exactly the way she wanted to sing. And by my giving up all preconceptions of what I thought I should be hearing, I was able to have a new listening experience. It made this performance surpass the other operas I viewed this season, where a lack of pitch placement came across as just that, a lack, not a tool. There are different styles of music production, and perhaps one can be trapped in one's own expectancy of wanting certain specific notes. Let go. Of course, we had a great Macbeth, and Macduff's aria was well rendered, but this is definitely the ladies' show, and her extreme personal style of delivery seemed to carry the rest of the singers. Many seemed quite eager to also sacrifice any adherence to notes. All a cappella renditions were up for grabs. When it was protracted choruses, all ties with tonality were broken. We hovered in the stratosphere, a spaceship of pitchless sound, while someplace in the wings a beeper beeped, calling Earth, lost in space, send key." They finally touched down in the vicinity of a pitch being provided by the orchestra. Ah, yes, the orchestra. Not wanting the singers to be the only ones liberated into free-form musical opera production, they picked up the idea and decided that if everyone came in at a slightly different moment and didn't attempt too tight an ensemble, an equally vague result could be achieved on the time continuum, as well as the pitch plane. With few exceptions, I found the stage design elegant, simple, and imaginative. The giant movable box on stage, framed by moving circular walls, was full of Pandora's surprises. At one point, one wall became a scrim, with shadows of dancers from the inside against shadows of visible dancers on the outside interacting. In another scene, the open wall faced the audience with slanted mirrors on the back, so that from where I was seated, you could also see the reflection of the conductor and a few of the pit musicians. Brilliant. There were a few notable bits of pornographic stage business, something usually inevitable here in San Francisco. Makes one wonder. Lady Macbeth is a big, sexy, overblown woman. She is seated. Macbeth lies on the floor on his back, his feet facing her. He is non compos mentis. She is delivering her aria, "Are you a man or a mouse?" No reaction. She pulls up her skirt, revealing a voluptuous thigh, muscular calf, and an all too eager bare foot, which inches up his leg to nestle ultimately, you know where. You've heard of a hand job? This is as close as you can get to a full-fledged foot job. She proceeds to mount him, and we get the rest. Later, after the final murder, he is his old passionate self. No more whining, passion abounds, and in the ensuing kiss made as he exits stage, it seems he rips off a portion of her lower lip. All in all, I can say that last evening's performance taught me a new way to listen to opera. Forget notes. Identify with animal instrumental sounds. Surrender to atonal, free-fall listening. Why not?
Well, maybe I should go. It sounds like a fabulous production, and I hate that kind of opera.